Hi everyone, welcome to Selangor Human Resource Development Center or SHRDC. In short, what you guys are about to see next are a series of webinar sessions on various topics that we at SHRDC previously organized. We hope you will be able to enjoy and learn a couple of things from this webinar session today.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me clearly. So if you guys can actually hear my voice very loud and clear, please type in the chat box or give me a reaction so I can know if I can be heard. All right, so say hello in the chat box and say yes or anything, give me a reaction. Yep, thank you very much, Host Suzy. Good morning. Okay, so welcome everyone, and a very good morning to all. All right, I hope you guys are ready for today's session. I believe it is past 10:30 now, so we will begin very shortly. All right, before that, I would just like to introduce myself first. My name is Marisa, and I will be today's moderator. So I am currently SHRDC or Selangor Human Resource Development Center's marketing executive, and I will also be today's moderator or MC. All right. So I hope you guys, this is not too early for you guys, and do grab a cup of coffee or tea. All right, because this will be a very fun and engaging session with our guest speaker, Miss CAMELIA. All right, so I hope you guys are ready, and we are expecting more attendees. I believe there are still people trying to dial in. All right, so maybe they are having issues or a little delayed happening from their end. So I hope it's okay if we will wait for everyone to come in. All right, and so while we wait for the others for the rest to dial in, I will just go over the basic housekeeping rules for today's session. So for any questions, do type them into the chat box. But at the same time, during Miss CAMELIA's session, she will also be very engaging with you guys. Okay, so if anything, do type them into the chat box for any issues, any inquiries at all. All right, and today's session is expected to last around 1.5 hours. And I hope everyone's mic is muted when our speaker is speaking or presenting. And there will be a poll questions prompting on your screen along the way. So we hope, we expect everyone to be very engaging and participate, all right, in giving out your answers in the poll. Okay, so a question before we start. I believe we have sent out to all registrants that we regarding the survey. So can you guys let us know in the chat box if you guys have answered the survey questions? It's regarding your organization hiring. Did anyone receive this survey and has actually submitted the survey? It's from our guest speaker company organization providing the survey. So do let us know if you guys have answered them. All right, thank you very much, Ranming. Rosnani. Okay, so Ms. CAMELIA or Esther, if you guys are listening, I think some of them have actually answered the survey. So thank you very much for that. All right. Okay, just a heads up, this session is currently recording and it will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So you guys, if you guys want to go back to this session, you guys can always go back to our YouTube channel, and which will be shared later during in a thank you note after the session is done. Okay. All right, so in case some of you guys are not aware, this session we will also provide a webinar e-badge. You just have to stay until the end of the session, all right, with us today. So you will definitely receive the webinar e-badge, and this e-badge will come through the same email that you used to register for this session today. Okay, so be sure to check on the email. and this is just a sample of how the webinar event will look like. All right. Okay, so before I think it's already time for me to start giving the floor to our guest speaker, Ms. CAMELIA Loh. Okay, and today's topic will be on how to find the right talent for your business. So here's the backstory or for the speaker profile. Okay, as you guys can see here, CAMELIA Loh has over 16 years of experience in the executive search industry, covering multiple industries. All right, you can see the kind of industries that she's covering: pharmaceuticals, petrochemicals, automotive, among to name a few. All right, and she is actually the founder and CEO of KABEL. So KABEL is actually a software or an app, which is a human-to-human mobile recruitment platform. I believe Ms. CAMELIA will introduce and explain what KABEL does and what it actually is. All right, during her presentation later. Okay, so CAMELIA believes in a world where careers can align with life goals and businesses are sustainable with the right people. Okay, so this is an image courtesy of the Rakyat Post. So you can see on the left side is our guest speaker of today, Ms. CAMELIA Loh, and on the right side is actually the app itself, a KABEL. So I think Ms. CAMELIA will cover this and in her presentation today. Okay, so I will stop sharing my slides now. So Ms. CAMELIA, the floor is all yours. So you can begin your session. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Good morning to everybody. And thank you so much, Marisa and SHRDC, for the introduction and having us on board. I hope that all of you have already gotten your breakfast, if not brunch, right? 10:30 is a bit late. I'm quite sure that entrepreneurs have this trait of, waking up early and to catch the early worm and whatnot, right? So if you have actually taken your breakfast, please say yes. Let's try to chat, and have a very engaging session today. Please say yes in the chat box if you already have your breakfast. Yes, maybe you can share what did you have, for your breakfast. For me, I had biscuits and Vietnamese coffee, tap out by my colleague. How about you guys? Yes, okay, good to know. Yes, hi. All right. Jacob crackers and Viet coffee too. Hey, take lead. Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay, allow me to share nasi lemak. Okay, all-time favorite for the Malaysians. Yeah, a must-have, must-have. Okay, let's quickly go into the presentation today. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for having me and coming on board. Can you all see this? Share already? Okay, just a minute. Can everybody view this?
Yes, we can see your screen, CAMELIA.
Okay, great. So, hi, I am CAMELIA. I'm the founder of KABEL. KABEL is actually a Tinder-like mobile recruitment app that connects like-minded hirers and job seekers. So we create immediate connections so that everyone can find a job and candidate at your convenience. So before we actually go further into this whole sharing session, I'd like to actually run the poll. Marisa, if you don't mind, can you show the poll? I'd like to take a temperature of the room to see, who are my honored audience out there today, and if you don't mind sharing some of the information in the poll. Thank you very much. We'll just have like about 30 seconds. So click on, are you a business owner, hiring manager, or HR practitioner, or just about to enter a leadership position? I also like to find out, on how much do you actually spend on job advertisements in a year? In a year, yeah, not per post, okay? Thank you so much for your participation. Keep it coming, keep it coming. All right. Okay, so I guess we got quite an even spread out here. All right, thanks for participating in the poll. So a little bit of a brief background about myself, right? I wouldn't go too long because Marisa has done a wonderful job in introducing myself. So I've got 16 years in the recruitment industry. Vastly, I recruited for a few industries, consumer, healthcare, and supply chain as well. I must say most of my experience is recruiting for MNCs, and a smaller proportion of it is for the SMEs, which includes hiring for my own companies as well. So I find that recruiting for MNCs are equally as challenging as compared to, for MNCs are equally as challenging as recruiting for SME, right? But it's just that in different aspects. So I'd like to share with you all today. So during this period of the 16 years, I had many friends, clients who turned friends actually, who have asked me to assist them in their recruitment. Unfortunately, I have only one pair of hands, and was unable to, help all of them. So I was thinking, how can I actually do this better? So KABEL was founded out of my passion, to share my recruitment best practices in the digital format so that each hirer can benefit from it. Yeah, so let's just start with the next page. Okay, so just sharing a little bit of the statistics, a survey done by SME Magazine in collaboration with Willis Tower Watsons revealed that SME employees actually, give a lot of trust and belief in their employer despite the challenges of COVID-19. Yeah, the survey revealed actually 90% of the employees are actually happy, and this is actually 6% higher than the regional average. So good job to you guys if you are, SME employers out there today. So what are they saying, right? What is the 90% talking about? So 9 out of 10 employees are saying that they believe in their company's purpose, mission, and vision. They trust their leaders and supervisors, in leading them in their role. They are also provided the opportunity for growth within the organization, and also feel that adequately recognized for their contribution, which is good, right? What does it mean, right? So this means SMEs are good employers. Unfortunately, this does not translate to SME employers to be the preferred employer. So the struggle is actually real in terms of recruiting talents. So according to Samantha, which is a Small and Medium Enterprises Association, the weakness could be both at the employer branding and lack of human resource best practices. So I believe that this is the best obstacle, the biggest obstacle for you guys to actually grow, the ability and resources to recruit in this highly competitive environment. Am I right to say that? Can I have a feedback from you guys? If you're having challenges in terms of recruiting the right talent, please say yes in the chat box. Yes or no? Yes, thank you, Yon Mei. How about everyone else? Yes, yes. Stephen, yes, thank you. Yaping, thank you. Chai Wen, thank you so much. Yes. So thanks for actually sharing with us. Okay, so let me share some of the SME recruitment problems, yeah? So from my observation, okay, the common problems that SME employers actually face is that, number one, there's actually not enough time, right? Because I believe that you guys are actually stretched with other matters. And recruitment is definitely time consuming, as it is very tedious and also a very delicate process. Yeah, so we deal with human beings and whatnot, and it's a very dynamic and fluid situation. Yeah, so I believe so, yeah, that you guys are actually, having not much time to actually pay attention to your, recruiting for your talent. Another thing is also that most SMEs post their job on the job portal, right, and get referrals through personal contact. If I may share, I think the recent study done in 2019 done by Kazana Institute of Research, they have said that a good 46% of the employers, SME employers, actually post their jobs on job portals. Another 45% of you guys actually, get your referrals through personal contacts. Yeah. So, but job portals actually is the best option so far. Yeah, because it's the most cost effective, and they also promise you with a huge database so you can reach to everybody, right? The issue comes when there is actually no filtering or matching done when everybody apply for a job. So it's actually quite possible that, you know, when you put up a job post, right, using your job description, you get 200 over CVs, multiply by the X number of job portals that you use. So end up you have, you know, hundreds and hundreds of CVs, right? So is that good results? Can I just show a hand, like, you know, is this situation that I'm describing right now, getting 200 over CVs with a job post, something that is very real to you? Please type yes if it's actually relevant to your situation. Nobody got a response from there? Okay, so you guys have not really tried putting up your JDs on job portal? How many have actually tried putting up advertisements on JobStreet? I'm putting JobStreet because that's the most commonly used job platform according to the survey. Okay, what is your mode of recruitment at the moment? Thank you, Kin Heng. Thanks. Got response, but not more than 100 based on position that we advertise. Okay, good info, thank you. Harry Hall, LinkedIn. Do you pay for the LinkedIn, or this is leveraging on their post one time for free kind of thing, Harry? Because I do know that it actually costs a lot to post on LinkedIn. JobStreet and Indeed. Thanks, Yaping. Penjana. Okay, that's My Future Labs, JobStreet, Facebook, and JobStore. Okay, thanks, Yaping. Okay. So for those who actually tried posting up, you know, your job description on all these job portals, you may get, you know, okay, if it's not 100 CVs, maybe slightly about there. So as a result, you may end up spending your time reading resumes, correct? Because, you know, maybe using your free time, weekends or whatsoever, because Monday to Friday, you guys are actually pretty occupied with work. Am I right to say that? Yeah. Okay. So on that big fish eating that small fish issue, that's the lack of company branding, right? So a big company has financial support, right, and resources to boost up company branding. You know, they really spend tons and tons of money in multiple channels to actually boost that up. So your employee branding, when you post your job, you know, your job advertisement on job portals, may be easily drowned in the competitive talent landscape. Yeah. So another thing is that disadvantage on compensation and benefit. Yeah, big companies are not only offering high salary, but they are also able to lure candidates with benefits such as insurance that covers not just themselves, right, but their family members as well. I've seen flexi benefits for them to claim on medical, well-being, leisure. I've actually even, you know, seen employers actually paying for overseas holiday, you know, even if it means that, you know, once a year and all that. So how is it that we compete with the MNCs who are able to provide such, you know, good compensation and benefit? Yeah, so how do we compete in this space? Last but not least is actually the lack of knowledge on HR practices. I would call this talent acquisition best practices. So recruitment for MNC and local is actually the same process, right? A proper recruitment approach will help you definitely to attract the right talent, but the lack of the focus and planning, here it means including planning ahead of time, what kind of resources that you need, okay, preparing an effective JD that speaks to the target segment that you want, having a structured interview, or even coming up with a competitive overall package, yeah, not monetary package, right? Overall package, and as well as an effective onboarding is actually what is the similar thing that MNCs and SMEs should do, can do, right? Can take this approach. So a well-written JD helps you to advertise to great candidates. When the challenges of the role are well defined and emphasize on, the best people will be drawn to you, right? It also helps you to recruit on opportunity and not on compensation. I can share with you that so many times in my 16 years of experience that I have actually placed people moving from MNCs into SMEs with either a lateral move or some even say, for career opportunities, right? So this can happen. So the best people are actually willing to take, a cut, a salary concession, if the job offers, provide a strong career move to them. So that is what I'm actually sharing with you guys today as well. Now, before we move on further, I'd like to state that, a wrong hire costs more than you think, right? So can you guys share with me what in your, is your understanding of actually hiring costs? Where do you spend money on? When you do recruitment, what will you be spending on? I can give you a hint. So if you're placing, job ads, that's right. So JobStreet costs you about X amount of dollars when you post. Anything else besides job ads? Just take a wild guess. Time consumed, you're most correct, Susie. Thank you so much. Okay, so the real cost to the business is not just the base price. The base price here I'm referring to is the recruitment fee, right? Like JobStreet. Or if you're using a headhunter, that's the headhunter. That's the base price, of what you actually pay for the recruitment services. But there are other costs that are involved. So for example, manpower costs, right? You mentioned time consumed. So this is the cost of the headcount of people who are directly involved in the hiring process, such as if your HR manager or administrator is involved in doing, in receiving the CVs, for example. Now, in many cases, of course, with smaller organizations, it is the founder themselves who's actually hiring. So the cost will be even higher because we're taking time away from your, business operations time to actually do this. But it is definitely a must, for founders to be involved directly in, the recruitment of your people, right? The next thing is actually, wrong hire costs. So there's studies actually everywhere that say that there is actually a 52% chance of doing a wrong hire, right? Due to multiple factors, not just from recruitment standpoint. Hence, there is a big chance that you may need to repeat the whole entire process all over again. So don't be too happy if you put up, job ads and you get 200 over, and then you manage to offer to somebody, and then after that you see later, in 2 to 3 months, people leave, right? So that's basically the ability to retain a staff. Now, cost of delay of hiring as well can cause loss of opportunity to business, right? So what it means here is that the delay to hiring on a headcount will cost you money. So out of these 4 factors, right? Cost of job ads, manpower costs, wrong hire costs, and opportunity costs, which one do you think will cost you the most? Again, just take a wild guess. Come on. Anyone? Could it be manpower costs? Wrong hire costs? Okay. Anyone else? Opportunity costs? Yes. Thank you. Okay, so most of you actually say opportunity costs, and that is the correct answer. Yeah, so what does it mean here, right? So we basically take let's just take Malaysia SME statistics, right? So DOSM, how we actually took is that we took the GDP of the whole entire SME segment in Malaysia. We divided it by the number of employees that are working within SME segment itself, right? And it is calculated that an average person's revenue that they can bring into the, to the company will cost you about 13,800 per head per month. So if you delay hiring per month, per head, that will actually cost your business about 13,800. So that's the average cost, for the SME industry. Yeah. So five lessons that I've learned in my 16 years of experience in recruitment, and I'd like to share with you today. Okay, so when I was a junior recruiter 16 years ago, my bosses taught me how to evaluate candidates based on 4A, right? What are the 4 A's, right? The first A stands for assertiveness. So if you see that a candidate presenting to you and looks assertive, a little bit aggressive, you give a tick, right? Affable, all right? If this person seems to be able to work well, friendly and whatnot, you give another tick. Attractiveness definitely will, have a, privilege here. If somebody looks good, that they actually get a tick, and being able to articulate during the interview, you get a tick. Yeah. So with that 4A practice, and I benchmark it with a decent resume, I could determine that the competency is in about 15 minutes, right? But now when I look back at the process, I can say that it gave me about 60% effectiveness in predicting subsequent success, right? 60%. So that's good, isn't it? So, but how did I actually predict subsequent success here is that, I just make a call randomly. It's not a proper survey or research done here, and making sure that my candidates that I place in there, are sustainable more than 6 months. And that's about it, right? And that's about it. So, and is that a good number, right? So I started to wonder, how can I actually do better than the 60%? And that 60%, I don't think that the parameters was fair, right? It's just basically staying in the organization, whether they contribute or not contribute to your organizations. I actually don't know, right? So can that number actually be used today? So I think that fast forward to today, I think that the 4A was a very weak predictor, right? It has definitely helped me to be a successful headhunter back then, 16 years ago. But today, right, I find that my hirers, right, my clients have lesser and lesser time to get to their business results, right? Because of the environment that we are, living in right now, a VUCA environment. So we're talking about volatile, we're talking about a chaotic environment where you can't really recognize patterns that much, right? I find that I need to actually find them candidates that will get familiarized with the job shorter and shorter. So those days, if companies, I'm talking about 16 years ago, yeah, those days, a person gets familiarized with the job in 6 months, and that's still okay. They're still within the organization. Today, 6 months is obsolete. I need to get somebody who is 60 days or even lesser, right? So how do I minimize the risk of hiring mistake is something that is on top of my mind. So I'd like to share with you some interesting facts that I differentiate between hiring the top people and hiring just about anyone else. Yeah. So lesson number 1, top candidates search for jobs very differently. Yeah, there's no correlation between presentation and interview skills and being good at the job, right? So top performers don't use the same criteria for a job. Now everybody has got access online, so means that jobs are readily available everywhere. Yeah, a top candidate will look for bigger jobs, better jobs that provide them with learning opportunities and more career opportunities. So if I do well in your organization, where will this lead me to, right? So unfortunately, top people, when they look, they don't use the regular method just like anyone else. So unless your company is, the employer of choice and has won many awards, the right candidate will not apply for just another job, right? The best people use more decision variables when deciding to take up a job, not just salary. So coming up with a compelling job description is the way to go. So they drop out when they don't see value in the role. Okay, so the best candidates don't typically have the exact mix of skills actually. Experience and education described in the JD, typically, right, when you look at the JD, you're talking about having X amount of years, and if you have a bachelor's degree in science, and if you have an MBA, that will be an added advantage. This will not be the things that the top candidate will be looking at, right? The best mix to get the best fit is to blend the motivation, potential, leadership, skills, tenacity, and vision. Again, this cannot be easily filtered out using a JD. So if you post a JD, you're addressing a general big group of people. Get it? Okay? All right. So which means hard skills, the ones that you have posted up there in the JD, hard skills, right? It's not the determination factor for work performance. So don't just list hard skills alone. So the last lesson is that a lot of candidates get nervous actually when they are being interviewed. Yeah, so you can typically see this during your interview with poor eye contact, right? And they probably give you short and shallow answers. So lesson learned is that I don't think that there's any correlation between good people and the way that they interview. My advice is that give it a 30 minutes for them to calm down, or in fact, find ways to calm them down, right? And then slowly extract the insights by using smart questions, asking them the necessary questions, right? Then it will probably, you will start to see that, they're able to share with you more and more information about their past achievements as well. Okay, right. So if you want to hire good people, first, you have to define superior performance, right? Not like what you have actually put in the JD. It's just basically describing, a lot of skills and qualification. So the trick to successful hire here is defining success, right? This requires you to really understand the job needs. It's important, right, to remember these 4 points, okay? Everyone wants to hire superior people, but yet the criteria most people use to define jobs, write ads, filter resumes, and interview candidates are based on qualification and requirements, right? Again, let me sound it out if this is familiar to you. While you read the JD, the candidate must have a bachelor's science degree in XX and an MBA in is a plus, 5 years of experience in consumer products, strong market research, web analytics experience, and a good team skills is a must. In many cases, JDs don't define the job. They define the person who will ultimately take the job. So traditional JDs are catered to recruit just ordinary people. So what I'm saying here is that instead of saying just having good team skills is a must, how about this? Mention how are you going to use those skills in your organization. So instead of saying that, maybe you can say something like coordinate product launch activities with procurement and distribution, right? That requires good team work, and it gives a very clear idea of what the candidate is going to do, right? Number 2, if you want to hire superior people, first you have to define superior performance, right? Performance is about results, again, not about skills and qualification. So this is the important part, is the execution part, right? So example, taking earlier example of the good team skills, set up organization tool to ensure smooth coordination of product launch activities with procurement and distribution to ensure stocks availability is at optimal state, right? So how does this sound, in the JD? Which one do you think is a clearer context as compared to good team skills is a must, right? Or setting up an organization, metrics and whatnot, right? So these kind of statements will actually attract the attention of the people who reads it, right? Okay, then number 3, after you have actually defined superior performance, all you need to do is to use this to search and hire the people who has this competency and also motivated to do the job, right? Using this method, you're able to also use the ad to filter out people who are actually not motivated, not capable, not confident, in your job. They won't be the typical ones that will apply. Yeah, so at the end of the day, you don't have tons of irrelevant CV landing on your desk, and then you have to spend time rejecting them. Okay, so don't compromise on the performance. You can compromise on the qualification. What it means here is that, so what if the person doesn't have 5 years of experience in that particular field, but they have all the ticks. They have actually worked very well with your distribution and your procurement team. They have set up all the key performance metrics or the organizational tool that is required to work together, and that happens to be the biggest challenge for you to find the person. Are you going to compromise the 3 years or the 5 years in this case? Sorry, somebody asked a question. Could you share smart questions? Okay, I'll be doing that in a short while. Could you share smart questions? Okay, I'll be sharing that in a short while. Okay. Okay, so next page, right? Say, finding the best active and passive candidates. Okay, how do I define active and passive candidates, right? Active are the ones that are looking out for a job. They're typically the ones that will apply for a job. If you post your job on 10 job portals, you probably see them there. Okay, passive candidates are defined as people who are not very active. They are okay to explore, but you have to give them a compelling reason why they should step out from their comfort zone. Yeah, so just to give you some stats, there's only 13% of the people who apply through job posts. What happens to the balance of the people? So these are the passive candidates. So how to attract them is the key. Now, who knows David Mackenzie Ogilvy? Who knows this person? No one? Okay, just a brief introduction. He's a British advertising tycoon, okay, and the founder of Ogilvy and Meta, the creative agency, who is also known as the, yes, advertising guru. That's right, Teck Lee, father of advertising, right? So he quoted this: if you're trying to persuade people to do something, right, in this case, working in your organization or buy something, right, buying into your idea, it seems to me that you should be using their language, the language in which they think, right? So based on this, David Ogilvy and his companies basically do advertising, and it's very successful. So what it means here is that sell your vision and create an employee value proposition, which I call it in short EVP. Yeah. So instead of asking, this is very typical. Yeah. Why should I hire you? Right? Try this instead. Why should you join me? Okay, in your job advertisement. So sourcing for the best candidate is something somewhat easier if you're an employer of choice, but even in good economic times, fast-growing, highly visible companies attract a larger pool of top candidates. But today, during COVID, slower economy, not so stable, even the good candidates are choosing to stay back in a relatively safe job. Okay, so what more for us SMEs? They perceive us as if that we are iffy, not so stable. Okay, so how is it that we could beat this situation, right? So a compelling ad is supposed to be your next move for an effective sourcing program. So without an appealing top-notch pitch, top people could be looking somewhere else. So whether this will appear on a job board or your company website, or even your verbal pitch when you see them, this ad serves as the first impression to the prospective candidates. So if you want to get top-notch candidate, the pitch needs to make sense to their career. Make sense? Okay, so give reasons why you want a candidate to join you. So create the EVP. Usually the EVP has got to do with opportunity and growth. So a top talent will always 100% want to look for opportunity or growth. So you have to create and craft something that is appealing to them, right? Not skills and qualification. So again, I'm going to drill this again. If you say 5 years of experience in product, consumer product, you know how many 5 years experience, people out there who has just got 5 years? So you're going to attract just about anybody, am I right? So what matters to the top-notch people is what kind of impact that they can bring to your organization. And if they join you, what can they become, right? So if you're asking me about some questions to help you think how to pitch this across, write a copy that focuses on what the candidate will be learning, doing, and becoming. So if I pick a question from here, why would a top candidate want this job? So you really got to think hard. Or describe the most critical skills in the context of how they use the skills for, right? Like, for example, what major program will this person be involved in? How does it benefit you? It attracts and filters out candidates with shared goals as your organization. Okay. Next thing is focus on learning, doing, and becoming. This is just an example. Say, for example, you are hiring a HR manager, right? Pick one of the questions. Why would a top candidate want this job, right? Instead of saying the typical, or somebody must have been a HR manager for 5 years, you can say this instead. use your HR magic to rebuild 6 months a department that has endured 6 years of neglect. Okay, so this gives them an idea that they need to be a self-starter. They need to be very comfortable with the mess that is available in your organization. Trust me, they will see this as a challenge. You'll be probably talking to HR managers who's not afraid to take up this challenge, right? Or perhaps does not have a chance currently to lead in their current organization, but looking for a company that will provide them a platform to shine. So what are you validating when you actually put this pitch around? Is validation on their leadership capabilities. Okay, so even an MNC people, if you were to use this, they will apply. Why? Because in MNCs, they got to wait for their turn to get to the top. Number one. Number two is highly competitive, right, in that environment. So they are looking at fixing or providing themselves through your organization to validate their own capabilities. Okay, then tell them what they need to do to ace the role. Okay, clarity in defining a to-do list, I call it, is a must in attracting a top talent. Okay, and you don't need to do this in for a 5-year plan or something. I just clearly define a to-do list for the next 6 months to a year, right? Preparing this will help you attract a top talent who wants to pick up that experience. It's also good to have that alignment of the expectations that are well defined for both parties involved, in this case, yourself as a hirer and the job seeker, so that to prevent any mismatch of expectations that would probably lead to resignation, high turnover, and whatnot. It can get pretty tiring, isn't it? People coming in and out. But what to do? You post a job description that says 5 years, then they say they qualify, so they apply, and then to know that, hey, it's actually a mismatch. I didn't know that I'm coming in to actually, pick up the setting up of the HR department. Yeah. So the to-do list again is usually a performance objective, and usually evolves only around the same categories for all sorts of jobs, right? It usually evolves around effective dealing with people, because people is definitely a challenge in any organization. It evolves around achieving objectives, organizing of teams, or even solving problems, or now very relatable would be, how to use new technologies, because we're all going digitalization, or making changes, transformation and whatnot. Right? So some questions to actually help you to think is, to create a statement, an objective statement is, what is the major objective or biggest challenge of the job, right? Talents would like to know that. What does the person need to do to be successful, or what needs to be done as soon as possible? So how does it benefit you? Communicate your expectations clearly, so it gives them an idea what they need to do, whether they are keen, apt to take up the challenge, and also it will be a smoother onboarding for you, right? So what you expect is that somebody coming in, you have already laid your expectations right from the start, agreed upon. So your next 6 to 12 months is going to be smooth sailing, no hand-holding as much as you think it would be, right? So the to-do list, right? Clear expectations. I would like to take this approach of using the SMRT and include an E approach here. What does S means here is include details of what needs to be done to that, so that the other person could clearly understand it. So be specific. M here stands for measurable. It's best if the objective is easy to measure by including amount or percentage. It gives you an idea how much of a leap that you want. 20% growth in sales revenue is definitely very different from 50% growth of revenue, right? So by stating that, it gives people an idea what kind of aggressiveness that you expect this person to have, right? And then A stands for action-oriented, right? Use action verbs like building something, right? Improving something, or change something, right? That gives an idea that action needs to be taken right from day one. R stands for results. Okay, a definition that complements the measurable piece here by clearly indicating what needs to happen. So if you do this, if you take action using the verb to do these particular things, as a result, this is the outcome that I'm expecting out of it, right? That gives people a very clear understanding of what you expect as a goal. Time bound, include a date or state how long it will take to start and complete. This is very important because some people say, I can reach that goal, but I need 6 months. But can you wait 6 months? If you cannot wait 6 months, you better put it down that I'm expecting this to be done in 3 months, half the time. So that gives people the idea, the type of pace that you want to include. E is environment. Describe the company's culture, pace, pressure, if you like, availability of resources. That's very important for SMEs, and politics even, if you like. Yeah, there's no point actually painting your company as a bed of roses. If you do that, you're only going to attract people to come in who enjoys to lie down on the bed of roses, right? Put clearly the challenges that is in your organization to everyone, and you will attract people who are willing to take up the challenge. So your choice, which one do you want to put right out there? So just have some example here, right? So say, for example, I'm recruiting a sales representative, right? And I want to craft something out which is based on performance. I'm not going to put there open to fresh grads and open to 1 to 2 years of experience, because that's exactly what I will attract. Okay, so questions to think about. What needs to be done as soon as possible, right? I'm going to say achieve quota within 60 days after the training. Okay, add 6 new accounts per quarter. It gives people a very clear idea of what is expected, right? Or what does the person need to be doing to be successful? So ensure 100% customer satisfaction despite potential delivery delays. So this gives people an idea that there may be a stock issue, right? Out of stock situation or whatsoever it is, but we all know that there will be, some measurements to ensure that it's still 100% customer satisfaction. And if you want to learn this situation, come join me. Don't join Nestle. Nestle will always have no delivery issues, right? Come join me. I will teach you the rope, right? This is the challenge that you want to pose to the people. Okay, another question that you may ask is, what is the major objectives or bigger challenge of the job? So this is a bit long range. You can say that develop new territory management techniques to improve identification of major new accounts. So this gives them an idea that maybe you don't have a territory demarcation yet. So this is the platform that I will provide you to learn. Even as a sales rep, even as a sales rep, I'm willing to actually work with you, to prepare that up. Yeah, the territory management techniques. Okay. So now let's go on to the filtering and assessing the right candidates. So after posting that on your job ad, on your website, career portal, verbalizing that to the candidates that you meet, right? So the next step will be filtering and assessing the right candidate. So let me ask you this question, right? Which one will you choose? Will you choose somebody that will meet 10 out of the 10 of the skill sets? Or you will choose somebody who has 7 out of 10 of the skill sets, but 5-star motivation? So help me out, put in the chat box. S for skills, 10 out of 10, M for 7 out of skills. 7 out of 10 of skills, but 5-star motivation. Thank you, Stephen. M, thank you, Teck Lee. Motivation, you're right, motivation. Okay, that's very good. But you guys are aware, right? 7 out of 10 skill sets means that the 3 you need to teach them. You need to be very hands-on with the hire. Yeah, so knowing how to assess a good candidate is crucial. Okay, let me make this statement very clearly. Yeah? People are not the best assets in your organization, but the right people are. Okay, I really like this quote because I think that it resonates with you as well. Us SMEs, we don't have a luxury of hiring thousands of people in our organizations, right? There's another different challenge altogether. But for us, if it's one man down, it will cost us a lot. Yeah, so hiring the right people is definitely crucial. Yeah, so motivational versus skills. So you guys got it right, and good. So I'd like to ask this question. As a top-notch candidate, now reverse the situation, you're not a hirer, right? As a top-notch candidate, do you think that they would pick a job that will allow them to, number one, type out number one, if you think, expand their knowledge and pick up new experience, they will pick this, or number two, go for something that they have done before? What will be the persona or the choice of a top-notch talent? One or two? One, expand their knowledge and pick up new experiences. Two, go for something that they have done before. Number one, that's right, Rosnani. Okay, number one, good. Right, I'm glad. So based on the majority of the question, most of you have picked 7 out of 10 and 5-star on motivation. So earlier on, I said motivation is not very easy to suss out, right? Using a JD, how do you suss out motivation, right? Let me ask you back this question. If you are motivated to do something, you really like something, would you feel tired doing it? Yes or no? No, that's right. Yeah, so no. So motivation here is a source of energy. Thanks guys for answering that question. So motivation is the source of energy. Without this energy, you're just hiring another body into your organization, and you do not want that. Somebody who comes in 9 to 5 and then say, thank you very much, I'm here, you know, at the end of the month, I'm going to take just a paycheck and that's it, right? Without that passion, a person will not, you won't see desire, you won't see self-motivation, there's no commitment, work ethics, and even persistence. But with motivation, even without you saying what you need to be done, this person will go all out to get that resources and come up with things that you have even not thought ever before. So innovation is key here. Okay, so next. So the filtering and assessing the right candidate is not just about skill sets, it has to be blended with motivation skills. So this page is about skill fit. Okay, on assessing a candidate, you need to get examples of the candidate's experience through deep fact finding. Okay, so imagine this, yeah. Again, do not cast out people who do not interview well. They may be shy, they may be nervous, they may be looking all over, but you need to give them time to calm themselves down and then start to probe. You need to probe. A lot of times I find out that, you know, being a trained interviewer like myself, I tend to do this because that's my rice bowl, right? I need to find facts, right? But when I profile them over to my clients think that they're here for a job. It's very wrong, okay? Top-notch candidates don't feel that way. They feel that it has to be a win-win situation. But unfortunately, they also are the ones that don't regularly go for interviews. Some of them really, they are really, really nervous to go for a job interview. So calm them down. So deep fact finding, discover past experience of a candidate and discover if they have faced similarity or similar challenges to your current business settings, right? That's very important. Evaluate how deep that they can describe the situation, right? In articulating the challenges. This gives you an idea that they truly understand what the challenges were, and then ask them in detail how they resolve it, right? Ask them to give tangible and measurable outcome. That's very important, right? To have a sit down one-on-one, relaxed situation and talk about the challenge. Understand what the challenges were, whether the challenges were the same as yours or not. Give them a chance to articulate out the challenge and what sort of creative ideas that they have put across, right? If you need be, guide them through this process. Don't wait for them to just, you know, share up because they're nervous, okay? Okay, on motivational fit, right? Get examples of initiative and extra efforts, right? Look for this pattern. And if you may, look for this pattern in every job that they do. Okay, so if some of them have got like tons of jobs and whatever, just think about maybe the 3 most recent job, right? And look for the patterns of extra effort that they have put in or initiative. You could even trace this to, you know, using apply this on fresh grads as well, right? Because take Taking extra effort is a universal trait of success. And this trait is evident early, usually, even if it starts in school, right? Remember, highly motivated people are always doing something more than they are required to. So very simple, you can ask these questions. Give me 3 examples of initiatives that you have done, or give me 3 examples of exceeding expectations, or 3 examples where candidate or you are doing more than what you expected to do. Okay, or if this is just maybe too complex, a more simple and direct assessment will be, you guys as a hirer prepare a business case, give ample time for them to write back, but with an agreed timeline, okay, be reasonable. Then evaluate whether the work that they produce, okay, has got any quality in it, right? Evaluate whether this actually can work in your organization. You'll be amazed that some candidates out there can you know, they're very resourceful, right? They will go all out to go and find information about your company, and they will present something that will wow you. So these are the type of candidates that, you know, is a keeper. You definitely need to hire. Yeah. So response rate is another key factor here. See whether they meet that timeline. Yeah, if you say that, okay, post your business case back to me by Friday, and if they by Friday, even if they can't finish it, they will usually come back to you and say that, excuse me, I need more time, right? Another point to be taken during the business case is that perhaps don't give them so much information, just give them enough. You want to see whether they will start asking questions as well, okay? If they can't get it from you, they will start to look somewhere else, right? And it doesn't matter whether it's on the business case is actually shared with them through written format or video format as well, okay? So 2 things that you can start to do today, starting from today, a takeaway is that, okay, learning that company branding and line managers branding is actually important, both very important. If not, line managers branding is more important, right? Hiring is not just about the company or the employer branding. Line managers are responsible for their recruitment. Okay, employer branding or founders branding is very important from my experience. If you're able to articulate your vision and a clear goal, that itself escalates the branding of your company already. Okay, fronting the recruitment process shows that you're an authentic leader, you're willing to actually recruit and be responsible for your own hiring. Humanizing the entire process will give your leadership more credible, and that itself is a candidate magnet. Yeah, so something to think about. So the study that I mentioned earlier, right, shows that only 13% of the candidates apply for jobs through job portals. Another good 45% of them actually state that they prefer to approach hirers directly if there is an opportunity. So think about it, how to create the opportunity for people to get in touch with you. Campus recruitment, I don't know if you're recruiting, you know, fresh grads, or maybe make yourself available on some of those popular job portals, networking platforms, right? So today, make hiring your top priority, take accountability and start getting hands-on with hiring, attract talents as a leader, communicate your vision and expectations clearly right from the start. Yeah. So next thing that you can do is practice collaborative recruitment. Yeah. If you have a HR in your organization, you should leverage on this partnership. Line managers usually look at current skill sets and see how those skill sets actually work for the organization. HR will come in to evaluate from a different perspective, usually culture fit, usually, you know, talent management, you know, how long will this person stay engaged in my organization? Right? And if HR is actually not present in your organization, always get another manager to assess the candidate together with you, right? I've seen many hiring errors done because making a yes or no decisions were done too quickly based on a very narrow range of factors. So the narrow range of factors here include, like, you know, if you're a hiring manager, you tend to go for the 10 out of 10 because you want somebody to plug and play so that you can move on to do some other things. So that mindset is actually very, very wrong, right? You got to start thinking about how to keep this person motivated as well. Yeah, in organization, can I keep working with this person for the next 2 to 3 years? Are there any other areas that I've not seen? So invite another manager to come in to engage with your prospective employee. Okay, great. Now I'm going to take a little bit of time to actually introduce KABEL. Right, KABEL is the first human-to-human mobile job platform that connects hirers directly to the job seekers through sharing of vision, goal, and expectations. I myself went through the digitalization stage. I run my own organization since headhunting organizations since 2011, right? And I shared with you earlier that I see, how recruitment is actually done, and I don't think that it's quite fair for both, the hiring party and the job seekers as well, because a lot of machine interventions if you're MNCs, but for the SME group, you guys are actually underserved. Yeah. So since connection is actually very important in recruiting, whether you're a job seeker or even if you're a hirer, KABEL focuses on making that connections an immediate and scalable platform. Right? We transform traditional job application approach by finding the right balance between the human and tech to make job and candidate search convenient and yet meaningful. Okay, the software will actually help you to scale up your network with no effort. The AI here, artificial intelligence, connect you to the relevant candidates on demand without the candidate applying. Who here is familiar with Fiverr? Who use Fiverr here? It's actually a job platform. Anyone heard of Fiverr? Yes, no? No, Harry, thanks. Nobody use Fiverr? No. Okay. No, okay. So Fiverr here is actually a job platform, but it's catered for gigs. Means that if you need freelancers to do, and they specialize in anything to do with digital and tech. So if you want to have somebody coding something for you or digital marketing for a short campaign and all that, you can go there. So it's on demand. So you can just post up your job and then you will be connected to, all the people that is relevant to that particular field. So for us, KABEL, we are not a freelance platform. We are actually a corporate professional platform, but in a similar concept. You just post the job and we will connect you immediately on the platform itself. So the human interaction here, allows you to find meaningful connection with your future teammate. Yeah. So this is how it looks like. Think Tinder. I'm quite sure then you guys have heard of Tinder before. Don't be shy. dating app. Marisa is smiling. Okay, so KABEL is just like Tinder interface. Steven, sure not? No. Okay, so Tinder with, but with more information on employment, achievements, and personal interests. Okay, so the current practice, job applications actually apply blindly into a company through a job post without knowing who you'll be working with. So again, the survey has done, right? 13% only actually apply through job portals because it's just not inspiring. I don't know who I'm actually applying, to, who is the line manager who's going to work with me. So with KABEL, this allows them to get to know you. So networking on, career is just an app away. So both hirers and job seekers have the same interface. You guys can check out each other before taking the next job. So it's very easy. 3 simple steps to hire with KABEL. Create your profile, post the job with your best pitch and the 3 to-do list items that we have just gone through. And to help you navigate better, we already provide those guided questions on the job platform itself, right? So this is the ones that you can create your EVP and the 3 to-do list by just picking the question and answer it. Then you will start receiving the relevant candidates. We will give you on a daily basis job cards. Just, if you like that candidate, you can actually see their profile, their background of where they used to work with. They will also shout about what they call the professional badges, which is actually representing their achievements. And then also a sneak peek into their personality through a personal assessment. If you like, and that they also post a little bit on their personal interests just to give you a gauge of who they are. I mean, work and life is integrated nowadays, so I think that we need to get to know the person more than just what they are, at their workplace. Yeah. So last but not least, if both sides actually swipe right on each other, so there's a mutual interest, you can start to chat with those candidates with the smart interview questions. Earlier on, you guys were asking me about the smart interview questions. We have embedded that and installed in these chat options. You can just go around and play with it, get familiarized, and then once that start your conversation, you will be able to know where to actually navigate, right? So the questions hopefully will get you to assess the candidate's skill fit and the motivational fit as well. So once you're happy with the candidate, just proceed to actually make an appointment. That's what it is. So why now, right? Why are we actually introducing such an application now? Is because, job matching and networking is very important, right? People want to find meaningful connection in the shortest time possible, number one. And CVs, everybody now have got a CV, you need to find ways to actually go for the candidates, okay? Candidates are dying to actually, do a personal branding. So this is where it is important for them, right? So as I said, people today are keen to make an impact in the things that they do. A job is no longer a job. So if a company wants to have a stable team, they need to find ways to engage through purpose as early as possible before any hiring takes place. Just like marriage as well. Don't sign already, then after that you think that, oh, it's not working out. Then that's where the high attrition comes from, right? KABEL connects you so that, hirers and job seekers can suss each other out as early as the first meet. And then everybody carries a phone, right, nowadays. Yeah, so it's accessible as, wherever it can go. It only makes sense that, the job information is also made accessible through mobile as well, right? Just imagine for younger generations, you can order, boba tea just by a click away, and it appears in front of your doorstep. But looking for, one of the most important thing in your life, which is your career, and your people, right, you have to start to do the manual search. It doesn't really make sense. So mobile penetration is important for us right now. And of course, human attention is getting shorter and shorter. The current JD is so lengthy, it doesn't really mean anything, to the readers. So KABEL is designed to take people's, attention span, at 8 seconds. So you need to really create a very, very compelling EVP, right? And the clear to-do list, which replaces your JD, right? To make the hiring, or to get attention actually from your candidate as fast as you can. Yeah. So a quick one, why you would love KABEL is that it automates your candidate sourcing so that you don't need to actually, filter your CVs anymore. It helps you to reach out to not just the active candidates, but the passive candidates itself. So on the candidate side, what they need to do is create a profile there, just like LinkedIn, and then they will also get, job notifications on the mobile itself. It's easy to use. All the interview guides and whatnot is already there, so feel free to play around with it. Now, candidate journey while applying for a job is very important. So being interactive and responsive is very, very important. I must say, yeah, it's not just job applicants ghost their candidates. I have seen many a times even hirers ghost their candidates as well. I've got no idea. Maybe you all can shed some light why you all ghost some of those hirers as well. Yeah, as an effect, right? Whether they are making sense to you, not making sense to you, you need to find time to actually respond back to them, because this relates directly to your company branding. Yeah, if you ghost them, they will go around to go and tell people that, your company is irresponsible. I apply already, and then they don't, they don't respond. So find time to do that, right? Collaborative recruiting is designed to do that, so that you don't make, hiring errors, a quick one. And it's built for hirers to actually recruit through your own values, visions, and goals, right? So call to action today, there will be free credits to hire on KABEL that will be given through all the participants today that attend through SHRDC. So please click on the link in the chat for more information. Hang on, I don't have the link right now. Can I get the link? Sorry, Marisa, I didn't share the link with you earlier.
No, it's fine. You can, maybe you or Asad, if you guys have the link, you guys can just type it in the chat box so everyone can see. Yep.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the webinar. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my best practices in recruitment, in finding the top talent for you. Please feel free to, we are going into a Q&A session, right, Marisa? Please feel free to actually post your questions on the chat box. I'm trying
Yep.
to attend to everyone.
Yep, that's
Most
right.
welcome, Stephen. Most welcome.
So you guys can either type your questions in the chat box, or you can also opt to unmute your mic and speak directly with Camelia. I think that would be, if you guys are more comfortable that way. All right, so we welcome any kind of questions regarding KABEL or anything that Camelia has presented. So now we open the floor for Q&A sessions. So do we have anything from the floor? Steven, maybe? I'm seeing your name so many times in the chat box, so maybe you want to say hello or something? All right, thank you, Steven. Do we have anything from the rest of you? I believe there were some latecomers joining in, so maybe you guys have missed out a few parts during the introduction. So would you guys like to ask anything? I think this now is the best time or the best opportunity for you guys to ask anything at all to Camelia, of course.
Okay. If you guys would like to actually get in touch with me privately, you can actually connect with me through the phone number that is actually listed on the screen, or connect me on LinkedIn. Yeah, you can search me up, Camelia. Thank you so much for participating. Any questions from the floor?
Okay, I do have a private message from an attendee, an anonymous attendee here. Just a second. Okay, someone is asking. I always lose quality candidates to higher pay. Do talents really consider a job with high impact but lower pay?
Sorry, I didn't get the question. Can you repeat that again?
Sorry, just hang on a second.
Roslani was asking, hang on, yeah, registration under KABEL free, or we need to pay for any fee? So the free credits are actually given to you all if you all to actually sign up on the link below. It's for free. You're most welcome, Jamil. For question, okay. For any more questions?
We do have a Q&A from an anonymous attendee.
Oh,
so
okay.
this person is asking, he or she is asking, how many interview stages is perfect? Is 3 to 4 too much for a hiring company?
Well, 3 to 4, usually this will get the candidate to start asking why, right? It shows basically, I mean, this type of questions that you ask is that, you know, can anybody in the organization actually make decisions, right? So unless you're able to share what the nature of having the 3 to 4 sessions very well, I would suggest perhaps to keep it to a max of 2, right? One with yourself, and the other one, collaborative recruitment together with your manager and the HR. I hope that answers your question.
All right, I'm not sure who it's from because it's being stated as anonymous attendee. So whoever you are, thank you for your question, and I hope Camelia had answered it. All right, so okay, we have a new question coming in from Kao Sushi. I hope I pronounced it correctly. So she's asking if we can have a copy of your slides.
Can we give a copy of the slide? I suppose I
Camelia, can I answer that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you everyone for actually attending this webinar. We won't be sharing the slides, but the video recording of the whole webinar will be on our social media and also on our
YouTube
website, SHRDC website. You all can view the whole recording again there.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that is correct. Actually, as you guys can see, this I have already mentioned in the housekeeping rules during my introduction earlier. So maybe some of you had missed it. So this session is entirely recorded and it will be later uploaded on our YouTube channel and also SHRDC websites for public viewing. All right, and you guys are also able to share and repost the YouTube link. So whenever you guys want to go back to this session, you guys can always go back to our channel. All right, I will share the SHRDC YouTube channel later in the chat box, so you guys can maybe subscribe. So once the video is up and ready, you guys can view it. All right, and you may share it as much as you want. Okay.
Okay. I think, okay, so the questions are starting to come in. So Chai Wen was asking, since company has tight budget to hire, think of hiring interns whom lack of experience. Any smart questions can filter for good candidates. Well, Chai Wen, in this case, I think you're right to actually take this approach of hiring the interns, yeah, and plus interns, you can actually qualify them to see whether they are worth hiring them on a permanent basis. So good and smart move there. On the smart questions, I think that you probably need to modify it a bit because they don't really come, I mean, they don't have, you know, any experience with regards to proper corporate experience. But you'll be surprised that a lot of actually the interns or the students have already started, you know, being entrepreneurs since their university days. Right, so you can basically tap on that using some of the smart questions there. You can also actually start to ask them about their participation. You know, how active they are in social networking, how active they are in certain associations, and you can start asking them the same questions like, you know, what sort of challenges that you're facing and how did you solve that situation? What was your role when you know while you were in solving that situation, to see whether they are the typical type that they will lead or they are, you know, a team player in that case. So I hope that answers to your question, Chai Wen. Did that help, Chai Wen? Okay, you're most welcome. Okay, so I move on to the next question. Hi, Camelia, how much is charges on the job posting? Okay, so if you're going through SHRDC, you guys are privileged to have it free. But for now, moving forward in the coming 2 weeks' time, we will be starting to charge 200 per job posting. But interns is actually free. We will be having a match event sometime end of the month, which we will be posting on our website. So please, yeah, do catch up on KABEL's website. We will be announcing that matching event there. We have actually been working with certain universities and onboarding some interns as well as fresh grad. So if you come on board, those matching, you can use your existing credit to hire for free. Right? Only 200 is only for the experienced hire. Okay. All right. Yes, Steven, see you on YouTube. Okay. You're welcome, Akmar. Any more questions? Any more questions from the floor?
Okay, do we have any final question? Because we are nearing the end of the session for today. So if you have any last questions from the floor, please do address them now. And meanwhile, I will also launch a feedback poll. All right. So I just want to know what you guys think about today's session, just a general feedback. So Camelia and representatives from KABEL can also see if today's session has been very insightful and helpful for you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope it has actually helped. So, I mean, if you guys don't have questions right now and perhaps it comes later, maybe you can drop a note on LinkedIn. Well, LinkedIn is actually, I must say that, you know, I will come back to you as soon as possible because usually my LinkedIn is being like, bombarded with a lot of connections just because I am actually a recruiter. So please give me some time. I'll definitely come back to you. Thank you so much for your feedback on my webinar today. And I hope that we'll be able to share more on SHRDC platform in the future as well. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Camila. And I believe that's the end of our session for today. So I will just start sharing my screen for a bit before we officially finish today's session. Just hang on a second. All right, so I believe the poll question has been shared. Thank you very much to everyone who participated and giving your answers and your feedback. We really appreciate that. Okay, so on behalf of SHRDC, I would just like to, maybe you or your peers or anyone that may be interested, we do have an upcoming event, it will be on deep learning, which is Eventbrite. Okay, it's a collaboration with SkyMind and also VTrots. All right, and also MSF and SHRDC. Okay, so this event will be held on the 14th of October at 3 p.m. Malaysian time, and this is actually a global platform. So people from all corners of the world will be coming in, will be dialing in. Okay, so maybe if you guys are interested to know more about this, do get over to our get in touch with us on our socials. So we have Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and also our general WhatsApp number. So if you guys want to know anything more on SHRDC and what we have to offer and our programs, do get in touch with us. All right. So, and that is all from me. Camelia, do you have anything that you want to wrap up before we officially finish today's session?
I think I'm good, but I really like to thank all of you today, in hearing me on my session, and also to SHRDC, Dr. Chua, Marisa, Muniz. Thanks for again, having me on board. So I hope that we'll be able to collaborate, with some of the SME people here. Do feel free to contact. We'll be in touch as soon as we can.
All right, so that's great. Thank you very much once again, especially to Camelia and also KABEL. And Esther, thank you very much for hosting this together with us. So I hope we will see you guys again next week. All right, maybe we have another session going on. All right, so to the rest of the attendees today, thank you very much for dialing in, and we hope you had a very good day, and please enjoy your weekend and continue to stay safe and stay
happy recruiting. Happy recruiting.
Yep, happy recruiting. You guys will receive a thank you note from us, and we will also include the link to the video for today's session, the webinar event, and also our socials for both KABEL and SHRDC. All right, our contact info. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Goodbye.
So how was it, everyone? Did you enjoy and learn something new today? We hope you find the webinar beneficial and informative. Thank you for sitting through until the end of the webinar session with us. If you like what you have experienced today and want to join in for more sessions, do not forget to like and follow our social media channels. Simply search SHRDC on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter, as all of our programs are regularly updated there. We will include the links to these pages in the description box below. Feel free to connect with us today or visit our website at www.shdc.org.my. Thank you, and we hope to see you again.